So after I finished last week's video about what the mid-30s crisis is, and I established that I'm probably having one, I had some follow-up questions. Mainly, what do we do about it, and how do I figure out what I actually want? But let's leave for now, and I'll tell you more about what I learned in the car. It's raining out there today, so packing some extra things. So I read a bunch of articles in preparation for this video, and I found this quote on a psychology website, and I kind of wanted to start with this one specific quote. It said, "Much of who you are right now was not consciously chosen." What they went on to explain was who you are today was shaped by decisions made by a younger version of yourself. And it makes sense that I've changed my mind. I had different priorities back then. I have different priorities now. But ultimately, those decisions are what led us here today. Okay. Dear gosh. Hey, Bruce. What you doing over there? Find a car park, which won't be hard because it doesn't look like many people want to go hiking in the rain. I don't know why. Oh, there's so many roos out. Whoa, hey baby, were you having a nap? Oh, he was having a nap. Oh my god, there's so many of them. Yay, we made it. So as we touched on last week, as we enter our 30s, we tend to have a better understanding of what we want as opposed to what other people want for us. However, coupled with what I mentioned before about finding ourselves in a path that maybe we didn't actively choose for ourselves today, we kind of find ourselves in a bit of a pickle. And I assume because you're watching this video that you might also feel a little bit this way as well. So I found out, ooh, there's a trail there. Ooh, muddy. So I found an article on Madison Square Therapy, and I have no idea what they suggested because I don't know what it says on my document because I'm trying to focus on walking and talking to you at the same time. It's actually much harder than it seems. I wonder, should I walk up there, walk that way, or walk that way? Let's go this way. Okay, so I found an article on Madison Square Therapy, and they said that this mid-30s crisis was a really great opportunity to reassess our priorities, to explore new things that we're interested in. Last time I came up here, there was kangaroos. I'm hoping that there's kangaroos again because they were just like lining this entire path last time. So pretty. Look. Alright. I'm hoping we get some roos. Ooh. I really should wear my glasses more often. We have some friends. These are my mates. I was gonna film me walking through them and then walking back, but the kangaroos up here, last time I was up here, they're not scared of humans, so don't run away. And I don't know if you've seen those videos of like those big kangaroos beating people up. It's like kind of what's in my brain anytime I walk past kangaroos. We'll see what happens. You just have to come with me because I don't think I can do it by myself. Ah, they ran away. Thank goodness. Oh, actually terrifying. On this website, they covered 4 main things that we can do to help us deal with this mid-30s crisis. The first one is setting meaningful, flexible, small goals. So I want to start with meaningful, and I'm going to use an example of my own. I have this big dream to hike the Tour de Mont Blanc. If you don't know what that is, it's like a 170-kilometer hike, hut to hut, in Europe, like across Switzerland, Italy, and France. I would love to do that. That is really meaningful to me. I love an adventure. I love being outdoors. However, I'm not flying to Europe tomorrow to go and complete that, especially with no training. So I need to make this big goal small and flexible. So let's make it small. Let's go on one hike. That is my small goal, to go on a singular hike. Here I am going on a singular hike. Then we're going to make it flexible. So you and me, we've got to let go of this idea of perfectionism, and we just have to get it done. Done, but not perfect, as some people like to say. This hike today, it might not be the perfect hike to help me with training. It's not an altitude, it's not very steep. I'm not going to hike for very long, but it doesn't have to be the perfect hike. I just have to go on a hike. I have to walk. I have to get those kilometers in and start moving my body. So meaningful, small, flexible. That's point number 1. The second point they made is mental health. Obviously, we've always got to look after our mental health. And whilst they're a therapy website where I got these points from, they'd probably like you to book in a therapy appointment with them. They also suggested journaling. Now, you might be like me and you know that you should be journaling, that it's really good for your brain, but you don't do it. I am going to suggest something to you, but mainly to me as well. Something that I've learned before. It's called habit stacking. So if there's something that you're trying to introduce into your life, you can kind of weave it into things that you already do. Something that I do every single day without fail is have a cup of coffee. I'm not drinking my coffee on the go. I like to sit on my couch, relax, and just sip my cup of coffee. Whilst I'm waiting for my coffee to brew, which normally takes about 5 minutes, I could be journaling. So I'm gonna try and do that. I'm gonna try and wake up, and when I'm sitting with my coffee, just journal 5 minutes. I'm not even gonna make it 10 minutes. I think they recommended 10 minutes, but 5 minutes is better than nothing. And I think we need to remember small, flexible goals. I can absolutely achieve that. Number 3 is surround yourself with people that support your growth. Now I want to reframe that a little bit, because what does that mean? I kind of interpret this to mean surround yourself with people that are going to be enthusiastic about the ideas that light you up. I am going to make sure that the people around me aren't like, the fuck are you doing? That's a stupid idea. I want people around me that are going to be like, I love this view, do it! And going to encourage me and going to ask me about it and, you know, egg me on to achieve my goal. Those are the people that I want to surround myself with. And the 4th point, I can never remember, so I'm going to have to check. I'll be right back. Hello, editing stuff here. I am just going through this video and realized I didn't press record on this 4th point. So the 4th point here is to just embrace change. Last week we kind of touched on how in our 20s we expect ourselves to, you know, try lots of different things and make mistakes and everything like that. Well, I'm here to encourage you to also do that in your 30s. So that's what I think this point is really about, just taking that pressure off a little bit, and it's totally okay to just try new things and change up your life a little bit. It also came up that it looks like people go through this same thing in their 40s and their 50s, so might as well learn how to embrace change today. Anyway, back to the video. I have to show you the tiny mushroom. Apparently I wasn't recording. Look at this tiny mushroom here. He's so cute. Don't eat strange mushrooms while you're hiking. So that felt like a good kind of starting place for my research, right? But I had more questions. How do I know what it is I want? My friend asked me last week after I made that video, she said, but how do you know the difference between your should haves and what I like to call your big wants? I think that I know what my should wants are and what my big wants are. And that doesn't mean that there isn't a little bit of overlap in those, right? So if you watched last week's video, I said my should wants are things that, you know, society kind of dictates. These birds are really loud. So chatty. Excuse me. I'm trying to record a video here. So my should wants are things that kind of like society dictates, right? A big career, getting married, having babies, buying a house, all of those sorts of things. Then we've got our big ones, and my big ones are things like travel, my big hike, YouTube, content creation, and there's some other things in there as well, but those are like my big ones. And I thought to myself, if I had to put all of these into a list and prioritize them, would I be able to do that? My answer is yes, I absolutely would be. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get one of those things. It just means that if there's an opportunity to prioritize something else, you're probably going to do that. Okay, so my next question was, how do I get what I want? And that's what I Googled. How do I get what I want? And there were a bunch of articles that came up that kind of just felt like the same thing repackaged, and I was a little bit bored by them. Until I came across this article in, I think it was Psychology Now. Anyway, it had a link though to a TEDx talk that was given by the person that wrote the article. And the TEDx talk was amazing. I'm gonna link it down below. I honestly, truly believe that you guys should go and watch this video. I really liked it. So it was Dr. Jennice Vilhauer, and I'm so sorry if I butchered her name, but she starts in this video by asking the audience to raise their hand if they want to win the lottery. Yeah, I want to win the lottery. And then she said, keep your hand raised if you bought a ticket this week. No, I didn't buy a ticket. And most of the audience lowered their hands. So you can see the irony. Obviously, you're not going to be able to win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket, right? So she goes on to point out that a lot of the decisions that we make are based on the expectation of the outcome and not actually what we want. Guys, this was huge for me. Like, think about it. The decisions that you're making are based on your expectation of the outcome and not what you actually want. You're absolutely not going to win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket. I also think that that was in the opening monologue of Eat, Pray, Love. I thought about this in my hiking scenario, but also my content creation journey. I have wanted to create content for a really long time. And honestly, my expectation of the outcome is that it's never going to work. The internet is really saturated. So many people talking about so many things. I kind of feel too old to be deciding to start creating content now. That's my expectation of the outcome. So I didn't do it. I've never committed. I've always given up thinking it's never going to work. I've taken myself out of the game, and I'm never going to be a content creator if I don't create content. You know what I mean? The same goes for my hike. Immediately I thought, I'm never going to achieve that because it's such a big hike, 170 kilometers. I don't even hike, you know? But in deciding that I was probably never going to achieve that, I have, say it with me, taken myself out of the game. Oh, hello. I'm Steph. It's nice to meet you. I'm just doing a video here. Do you want to be in it? I need some background actors, if you're interested. It pays well. Okay. Dr. Vilhauer says, an expectation is a belief about whether or not you're going to get what you want. And obviously, as I sat to think about all of my big wants, I realized that my expectation was that I wasn't going to get them. So wild. Guys, I'm telling you, there's so many kangaroos here. So, Dr. Vilhauer goes on to explain what we should do in this situation. I'm sure you're wondering, okay, great. I realize that my expectations of my big goals are terrible. What do I do about it? If we have an expectation that doesn't align with what we actually want, we have two options. First option is give up. You're never going to achieve it. What's the point in trying? The second option is to change our expectation of the outcome. And there's 3 steps that we can take to do this. My phone is about to die and I need to finish this hike and get back to the car. So I'll see you there. It's like double the hike. Welcome back. Okay, where did we get to? So she's given us 3 questions to ask ourselves when we feel like we're in a situation where what we want doesn't align with our expectations. So the first question that we have to ask ourselves is, how is what I'm expecting making me feel? Now, obviously the outcome that I'm expecting is pretty negative. If I'm thinking about my big hut-to-hut hike, that makes me feel pretty crap, to be completely honest with you, because I feel like I'm missing out on a really awesome experience. And I feel like it would be so good, but I'm instantly telling myself that I'm not going to achieve it. And that makes me feel crap. It makes me feel disappointed. It makes me feel sad, frustrated with myself. So then the next question that we're going to ask ourselves is, well, what would I like to happen instead? What I want is to go over to Europe
and hike this with friends and have an amazing time and see amazing views and meet amazing people and just have an amazing time. I don't know. That's what I want to happen.
I want to do it. I know what I want. I want to achieve this hike. That's what I want. Now that I'm focusing on achieving this hike, the next question is, what do we need to make this happen? My one's really simple. I need to go on more hikes. I'm not going to be able to hike 170 kilometers in the Alps, so at altitude, if I don't start hiking. I remember that article that gave us 4 things to focus on, and the first one was set meaningful, small, flexible goals. That is what I'm going to bring into play here. I'm thinking about my big goal. I know I'm not going to fly to Europe tomorrow to achieve it, so I need to make it small and flexible. The first thing I'm going to do is go on a hike, which is what I did today. She says when we focus on the positive outcome, we start to focus on how to make it happen. And that is the mindset shift. Or I also like to write inspirational quotes and put them as my phone background to remind myself. The current one says, "One day at a time, you impatient psychopath." That is all from me from this video today. I really appreciate you watching, as always. Would love if you can like, follow, subscribe, whatever you would like. If you want to leave me a comment, I think I asked you for some recommendations on hiking shoes. Would absolutely love that. Also hiking pants. I'm looking for hiking pants as well. Although I'm not getting too ahead of myself. I've been on one hike, so I need to like calm down, you know? But yeah, it was lovely seeing you and I will see you next week. Bye. So Dr. Vilhauer says, I really hope that's how you say her name. Orcs if it's not. You can walk through more stuff.